welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and this is the Astral Library. We are almost at the end of the year, which is insane. 2023 has gone by so freaking fast. I feel like we just started this year and now it's December and I'm just a few weeks before 2023 is over and 2024 is about to start, which is Today I have for you the last TBR of 2023. But instead of my usual TBR game, we are actually going to be participating in the Magical Readathon winter kind of festival, which is the Lightfall Festival. Now I'll leave a link to G's video right here so you can see what the Lightfall is and what the Magical Readathon is. But essentially it's just a readathon where Lightfall is where the student of Aurelium goes shopping at Old Favor Pass, which is a series of shops that each have their own prompt. So to participate, I'm going to be picking a handful of these shops to go to and building my TBR based on those prompts. I'll make sure I pop up a graphic on screen so you can see all the shops and the prompts as I talk about them, but let's go ahead and just dive straight in. So to knock off one of the easier kind of prompts, I'm going to first be going to the Old Tales Bookstore. And the prompt for this one is book you wanted to read this year but had not had the chance yet. So for that, it's actually a recent acquire, but I read the first volume earlier this year, and that is Saga. So I have the deluxe edition right here, which is the first bind up of the first several volumes, I believe. If you saw my book haul, you know how excited I was to get my hands on this edition for a really good price, and I'm so excited to read this. I was waiting until I had specifically this edition because I tend to read graphic novels really fast, and I don't want to have a whole bunch of those tiny little volumes because I just don't have the space for them. So I was waiting specifically till I got these deluxe bind up editions so I could have them. They're a little bit prettier to sit on the shelf and they last a little bit longer, but also so I could just dive straight into this world and enjoy a longer period of time in it. So this is the first thing on this TBR and what I'm using to satisfy the Old Tales Bookstore. Okay, the next shop I have to read the name of because I always mess it up, but it is Smith and Friends and Sons, Arcane's Goods and Such, which the prompt is last book you added to your want to read list. So this one is not so much my last want to read. For that, I would normally pick like the last thing I purchased, but this is the last thing I would say I need to read for the year and that I want to get through before 2024 hits. So the book I have for this is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. I did read the first book, Serpents in the Wing of Night, for my 24-hour reading vlog, and it went okay. I was frustrated with that book, half of which because I was reading it at like 1, 2 in the morning, completely tired, and reading a fantasy book that late at night or that early in the morning, just not a good idea, FYI. But generally, it just took me a really long time to get into that book. So much so, I didn't think I was actually going to pick this one up. But then the ending of that first book made me so mad, and I just like had to know what happened. So my friend Sarah lent me the second book, and luckily this is the last book in the series. It's only a duology. And I hear that people who love the first book didn't like this book, so I'm hoping the opposite's true, that if I didn't like the first book, I might like this one a little bit more. We'll see how it goes, but I do want this book done before 2023 is up, just so I can give it back to my friend Sarah, and I don't hold her book hostage for, you know, into the new year. Those are the two books I already kind of had picked out. The rest, we are going to be playing a little chance game. We're going to see what pops up. So the next place I want to go is Occult Premonitions, where the prompt is based on a random tarot card. I just happen to have a handy dandy D&D based tarot deck. So we're going to open this up and I'm going to give this a quick shuffle to see what we come up with. And I'm not going to bend these cards, so we're just going to pick randomly this one. So we're gonna go off of vibes. And this gives me straight fantasy vibes. I mean, it's D&D. All of it's gonna give me fantasy vibes. But the wizard hat in particular gives me fantasy vibes. And we have a person in cloak, and we have this kind of demonic thing. So it's giving me like dark fantasy vibes. Instead of digging through my shelves, because I really don't know what I want to read other than the two I already picked out. So we're going to rely on our TBR jar, which is based on mood. So I've shown this a couple times on my channel, but every stick is color coded with, and it represents a book from my actual physical TBR that I haven't read yet. So black stands for fantasy, gray stands for classic, green stands for thriller and mystery, light blue stands for sci-fi, purple stands for contemporary, red stands for miscellaneous, dark blue stands for paranormal romance, and yellow stands for graphic novel. So we are going to pick a fantasy book and see what the jar awaits. I haven't updated this with my most recent purchases, so these are all going to be older picks, which is good. Let's end the year and really trying to get a book out. I have one. I'm going to show you. A Song of Wraith and Ruin. Let me go grab that. Okay, I'm back. So we have A Song of Wraith and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. So we compare this to card. There's like the hues of green in it, particularly this person's like hood right here, the same element in this. So I think that's a good pick. But what is this book about? It's been a while since I purchased it. So for Malik, the Basia Festival is a chance to escape his war-stricken home and start a new life with his sisters in the prosperous desert city of Zirin. But when a vengeful spirit abducts Malik's younger sister Nadia as payment to enter the city, Malik strikes a fatal deal. Kill Karina, crown princess of Zirin, in exchange for Nadia's freedom. But Karina has deadly aspirations of her own. Her mother, the Sultana, has been assassinated. Her court threatens mutiny, and Solstacia looms like a knife over her neck. Grief-stricken, Karina decides to resurrect her mother through ancient magic, requiring the beating heart of a king. And she knows just how to obtain one, by offering her hand in marriage to the victor of the Solstacia competition. When Malik rigs his way into the contest, he and Karina are set on a heart-pounding course to destroy each other. But as attraction flares between them, the ancient evil stirs. Will they be able to see their task to the death? Ooh, that does sound really good. I heard a lot about this book a few years ago and I ended up picking it up and I never got a chance to read it. But it's black fantasy, and one thing we love on this channel is black fantasy. And by a black author too, yeah. I'm excited. This sounds really good and really interesting. And again, it was just a great fate pick. This matches the card perfectly. Okay, and the very last shop I'm going to is Shank and Shaw's Legitimate Retailer, which the prompt for this one is to steal a book from someone else's TBR. So for this, I thought it would be really fun just to hop onto YouTube, hop onto my homepage, and see what TBR videos pop up. And then from there, choose something from their list of books. That way, I'm potentially trying something new, something I maybe you've never heard of, and it will be possibly fun, or the worst time ever. So let's go ahead and see it. I have my iPad right here, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look. Okay, we have the app open, and boom, right at the top, we have the BookRoast, how fitting that we're going to be looking at her TBR for this, because it's her readathon. All right, let's see what you got, G.
Welcome back to TB Avatar.
Okay, so her first book is...
Ooh, I know. Wait, I have another book by the author that I've read like 3 books of.
Okay, so we have The Wake Up Call by Beth O'Leary. Never heard of it. So potential.
Oh, okay. So, you know what? We're gonna do a comic, I think. Okay, I'm thinking Rat Queens. I just need to check which one was the...
Okay, Rat Queens could be interesting. So that's a series that G's been reading a lot. So we could use another graphic novel on this TBR. Sounds right up my alley.
But I am going to pop this in here because it is my book club read.
Okay, so Station 11's her book club read. I'm gonna skip over it. It doesn't really sound super interesting to me.
I will say I do not know an overwhelming amount about this book, but it is by the author who wrote Last Housewife, which I loved.
Okay, and her final book on this TBR is Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. I don't know what that is, so let's hear G explain this.
I think this one actually is slightly fantasy because it mentions vampires.
Okay, so the two that I saw that I liked was definitely Rat Queens, which is a graphic novel series, which could be a nice kind of way. I don't like to overwhelm myself so much on the last month of the year just because there's a lot going on. We have Christmas, we have New Year's, we have birthdays, it's too much going on to be reading like too many thick books. So that's a very appealing option. But then there's also the Midnight's the Darkest Hour, which sounded really interesting in that it was sort of magical and there's vampires, which I'm a sucker for a good vampire story. I really, really am. I think I'm gonna be nice to myself and I'm gonna go Rat Queens. Just so I'm not overwhelming myself because I do already have some pretty thick books going on in this TBR. Like... look at them. They're pretty chunky, particularly freaking Carissa Broadbent, which I don't think I'm going to like super enjoy anyways. So if I can get something that's a little bit shorter, I might enjoy myself a little bit more. So we're gonna do Rat Queens. We're gonna do Rat Queens Volume 1, which I think I can get at my library because they have a pretty good graphic novel section. Okay, but this is my TBR for December plus Rat Queens, which I will kind of throw in a graphic up here. Decent TBR, I would say. I got a good variety variety of books. I have 2 graphic novels, I have 2 fantasies, but also 2 different vibe fantasies. We have like a fantasy romance, and then we have black fantasy, which is enemies to lovers. So just, hitting all of those boxes for me. But that is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please consider leaving a thumbs up and a comment down below. Let me know what's on your TBR this month. Or if you're not making a TBR, what are you currently reading? Are you enjoying it? Let me know in the comments. I always love hearing about what people are reading. And I have a big book haul coming up for January as a birthday treat to myself. So if you want to give me some recs, comment's a great place to do that. If you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel out and lets me know that you want to see more bookish content like this. It's been so much fun making videos for you guys, and I am so thankful for each and every one of you that comment and like my videos. But that's all for me. I'm gonna head out and try to finish up my November TBR because I have a couple books still on there. But I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!